Trivia and treasure, clues and hints. You're now tuned into the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
Today we are on the hunt for our next clue on an exciting adventure. Join us in discussing trivia, scavenger hunts, and other fun Disney adjacent activities. Wow. So,
Woo.
you know what? I thought about this a little late and we didn't even talk about May the 4th because it's kind of over the weekend. It's a Saturday.
Smack in the
So
middle between two of our episodes.
we did it. However, you are home fresh from Star Wars trivia, getting excited about Star Wars. May the 4th had just passed, and here you are. Tell me about it. How did this go? I
There
need
we
to know
go.
where you placed all the fun stuff. How was it?
Yes, so happy May the 4th, everyone. May the Force have been with you over the weekend. But yeah, so this was last week, the Thursday before May the 4th. And it turns out that here in Guadalajara, where I'm staying right now for long term, there is a Facebook group for other expats, so expatriates, other people who live in Mexico from another country and they're working here, things like that. And Jerry is always looking on there, and I'm not because I barely go on Facebook. I'll be on Instagram and all the other things, but for some reason, Facebook overwhelms me now. There's just too much
Same.
going on. Yeah, it's just
Same.
too much. So I'm like, yeah, just tell me what you see. And then he found that someone posted, oh, this bar, El Valentina, I think, is doing a Star Wars trivia night in English and Spanish, specifically for Star Wars fans, uh, and expats and locals to mix. It's just like perfect.
So
Like, what
cute.
else can you ask for there? Like, if I
Right.
don't go to that, then I can't complain about not meeting any new people.
That is very true.
It's like so I was like, all right, let's go, let's go. And so we went. It was this really cool, like restaurant bar that had. It almost looked like an old, like it was like a villa before because it had like different rooms within the restaurant. So like the front was like a cafe, and then they had three different rooms. One looked more like a screening room, and the other one looked like a game room. It had like ping pong and board game tables, and there's people in there playing board games. So I was like, okay,
Very
I need to
cool.
come back here. Very
Nerdy
nerdy.
style. I love it.
Love it. Yep. And then there was like a whole patio outdoor area that was really nice. So in the like screening room area, that's where Star Wars trivia took place. And we got there early because we need to like adjust to Mexican time. So it says trivia starts around 7:30. So we got there at 7. We're like, just to be sure, maybe
Especially
have
if
a
you're on
couple
Disney
drinks.
time. We always have to show up way early, right?
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, because I was thinking like even the cruise ships, which this was giving me cruise ship trivia, which I love cruise ship trivia. But yeah, you got to show up. You want your table, especially if you want to order a drink or something first. So we get there and there's only 5 of us total. And I was like, oh, I hope more people show up. And so did the guy. He was like, hey, we'll probably get started at like 8. I was like, oh man, we got here too early. But
Oh,
turnout was good. We ended up with, I want to say about like 22 people.
oh,
And
good.
that was enough to like fill up this whole room. So it looked
Right.
packed. And they ended up wanting to kind of get people to socialize. So wherever you ended up sitting, little did you know that was like your team. So there ended up
Oh,
being 3 teams total. And we had to come up with our own names. And it was fun because our table we were already getting to know each other. There was someone who only spoke Spanish, and then there was a woman who is trying to move here from San Diego, and she's
okay.
just like had it with the US, and she's like doing the same thing. She's like, I'm gonna move down here. So she spoke Spanish and English, and so does Jerry. And then there was 3 others on our team that only spoke Spanish. So we had that good mix. So you're like bound to have at least one person at your table that can help translate for everybody.
That's cool.
And
Okay.
Yeah, so it was fun. We're getting to know each other. I had my Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening day shirt on, 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019, Black Spire Outpost, May 31st.
Very cool. Good
Uh,
memories.
so it turns
Good
out
Star Wars memories.
everyone's there just to have fun, which I love. I love that. I was the only person who knows Star Wars or has seen Star Wars at my team table. The pressure, and I'm not even that good at Star Wars. Like it's hard. We were practicing in the car on the way there. Jerry knew nothing, and I was getting most of them right. Like in the car, he was just like Googling questions. But then we get to this place, and these are hard questions. These are not
Uh-oh.
casual questions. And so there was three teams, right? The other team, they're pretty, I would say Star Wars people. They all had shirts on and they were all like wearing stuff. I was the only one at my table. And then there was a third table team that was like a wild card. We are like, okay, they none of them knew each other. It was like almost all solo people, and they all just looked very different. Like they did not look like a friend group at all, which is fun. That's part of the whole thing. I couldn't tell who spoke Spanish and who didn't, and they ended up being the winning team. So there you go. Like you never know.
Oh,
A group of misfits who did not know each other, they came together, and they all knew most of the answers.
that's awesome.
Now, what I will say about this trivia is, what do you think about somebody hosting a trivia night if they're not part of that fandom?
Um, I mean, I think it's fine. There's a lot of trivia that kind of try to include everyone, so they'll often go into things that they might not know that much
Mm,
about. I think it's fine. However, I usually find it a lot more fun when the host
right.
knows their stuff, right? Just because
Yeah.
they can, the banter is a little better, right? So, or a lot better, than someone who doesn't get it. So, and especially if they're building the questions, right? So it's kind of
Yeah.
a, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's okay to do. However, I think they should maybe have someone to run things by before they,
I think they should too. I really
yeah.
think they should. And I guess it depends on the personality. Like this guy was pretty nerdy, which is okay, but um, I was surprised at the very beginning. He said, so I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I don't know most of the answers to these questions, but I got them offline and Wikipedia. He's like, I checked and I validated, verified everything on Wikipedia. So I was like, okay, who knows what we're about to get then?
Right.
And and Disney holics and Star Wars fans, we can be a little bit crazy about technicalities and things like that. But I knew my table, didn't know Star Wars. So I was like, let's just have fun. I
Yeah.
honestly don't really care. I was like, let's just have fun, order drinks. I had some nachos. I had this really good um frozen Irish cream with liquor Frappuccino coffee thing. It's delicious. And so we're just having a good time. Now, he messed up on so many things. This poor guy, I felt so bad for him because the table with the people that were wearing all Star Wars stuff,
They're
they
like,
were so technical. Yeah. And to the point where it was like uncomfortable because like the other teams, including my team, like we were hoping we would get a point for getting something pretty close, and then they'd be like, "No, they don't get a point." And I was like, "Okay, fine. Like I don't care, but you're being annoying." So I'm gonna
like
see.
Jeopardy up in here.
It's like Jeopardy, yeah. And the guy was like, he kept saying like, "Don't." He said stuff like, "Don't take it out on me, please."
Oh no.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's
He
some
didn't play any
Karens in
like
the some Star Wars
music, just
Karens.
Star Wars Karens.
What would
Yeah.
a Star Wars Karen be? Mon
Mm.
Mothra? Who's a
Mothra. Could be. It could be the who's the late well, she's kind of nice. The not the stepmom, Luke's milk farm
oh,
mother.
the auntie?
The auntie. Yeah, but she seems pretty humble. She just stays home in that little
Yeah.
sand dune thing. So yeah, that was happening, but it was still fun. It was fun going to that venue. It was fun seeing the concept of all these people coming together from different places and speaking different languages. And then it was
Right.
definitely fun that Jerry came because he doesn't care about that
I
stuff.
was
So
so impressed when
yeah.
when you told me that. So you guys are listeners. Jerry is Mike's husband, if you are not tuned into that part of it from us talking about him before. But he is not a Disney holic. and she probably could get two you know what's about Star Wars. And Mike sent me a photo of Jerry at this bar. I was like, wait, what? Jerry what? And then he's like, yeah, Jerry found this event. And I'm like, what? Super impressive. Congratulations for your newly involved Disney holic husband.
There you go. It's always
I
a
love it.
win
Bring it
when they come
on.
along. And he actually had a lot of fun because he was being stupid and silly, which
Good,
and
good.
I'll
That's
tell you
fun.
exactly what I mean by that. Our team name was thought of by him and voted on as our team name, which was She 3P Ho. And he wanted to make sure every other table and other team saw it. So when you had to like switch to do correct each other's papers, he's like, "Did you read our team name?" And they'd be like,
Oh my
"Yeah." Oh,
God.
she 3PO. And then he's like, "No, she 3P ho."
Ho.
Real happy about it. So he had fun there. And then some of the questions, like there was a question about what type of crystal is used to make a lightsaber.
Okay.
And his answer was waters, crystal waters, like the singer, the
Crystal
90s
Waters.
dance singer.
With the
That- that-
did she have like extremely long hair or something?
I think so. I was about to sing La Bouche, but it's in that era,
That's
La Bouche.
hilarious.
So stuff like that. But I wanted to tell you some of these questions because they are very hard, and some of them
Okay.
were way too technical that I just thought it's just not fun for probably half of the people there that didn't know know anything. Especially at my table, they
It's
kind of
sad
just gave
because
up.
that's when it comes into play if the host is knowledgeable about the situation because he probably didn't even know they're hard or easy questions. Like, how do you
Exactly.
know if you
He
don't know
just
the
like
fandom?
chat GPT'd it or something.
Yeah.
So here's one question, which we got right though. So I will start with that.
Okay.
But it's very hard.
Who's we?
What
You got right, you mean?
um actually I would say me, Jerry, and the San Diego lady. Because I
Jerry
gave them
too?
a
Okay.
clue and then they were able to
Oh,
figure it out as a non-Star Wars fan. So the
okay.
question was, what breed of dog is Chewbacca based on?
He's a Wookiee. A breed of Shaggy dog? I don't know.
This isn't that hard? That's
I don't know
hard.
that
It's
one.
a hard
Yeah.
question. And it has nothing to do with have seeing the movies. Like you just have to learn
Yeah.
about it or
Yeah.
something. But so I did know because I was doing all the studying before, but I didn't know
Oh,
the name of the
nice.
species. I was like, so I told them I was like, it starts with an M. I know that. And then I was describing to them what Chewbacca looked like brown, long hair, black nose. And so it's a Malamute. Malamute.
Okay.
Yep. And so they knew that. And I said, I think that's it. If you think it looks like it starts with an M. And so we got it right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That is a very
Um,
hard question.
very
I didn't
hard.
know that at all. I
Okay,
learned something
what?
new today. Hey.
There you go. That's what we kept saying at the end too. Is like, well, we learned from some fun Star Wars facts.
Yes.
Like, what is the max number of, is it womp rats? Womp rat? Is that a thing? A womp rat? That creates a tribe of womp rats. I'm like, what?
I don't even know what a womp rat is.
Now I'm
Everybody is mad at me right now. I know it, but that's fine. I don't. I'm being honest.
womp rat. And the answer was something random, like 40 or something. And Jerry guessed, believe it or not, 77. And he's like, because that's when Star Wars came out. I was like, wait, what? How do you know
What?
that? It was really weird. I think it maybe came up in a previous question or something.
You're like,
Um,
ooh, you're pretty hot tonight.
yeah, it's like, so who are you? I have another beer.
Right? Who is this man?
So that was really hard. Okay, so let me go back to the crystal waters. I didn't finish that one. Do you know the answer? So what is the type of crystal that is put in a lightsaber?
Yes, Kyber crystal.
Kyber crystal. How would you spell that?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know if I've ever seen it spelled out. I would spell Kyber.
That's how I spelled it. And that's how, so this, how I said the host wasn't a Star Wars fan. So sometimes it would work in our favor and sometimes it didn't. In this case, he's like, no, that's what
Okay.
I wrote down. He's like, I wrote it down that way, and that's how I found it online, Kyber. And then that crazy group of Star Wars fans were like, no, it's
Oh no.
Kybher. And so they're trying to tell us that we don't get the 2 points.
Oh.
And I'm like, you guys, like, let's just have fun. I'm just
Y'all,
happy that I
you
got
know that,
it.
that this is what I mean.
Yeah, like that. Give us a break here. But it ended up working in
Seriously.
our favor because that's what the host wrote down, and he really didn't know that it could be spelled both ways or
Nice.
whatever. And I think it actually is spelled both
Nice.
ways, so whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of that. It
Whatevs.
was really fun. Questions were hard, but that's okay. And we kind of like told everybody like, hey, hopefully, we'll see you another time because this guy does regular trivia. It's like every other Thursday. And this was
That's
his first
fun.
time trying a themed one. And so, he's like,
Cute.
oh, May the 4th, blah, blah, blah. So the other ones might be fun too if they're just like general pub trivia. Maybe more people can play along a little bit.
Is it pretty
So
close
yeah.
to your house or your place?
Yeah, I would say like 10-minute Uber.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty close.
That would be worth checking out a
Yeah,
lot of
Star
times.
Wars
That's
trivia.
really
So
cool.
if
Nice.
anyone happens to be down in Guadalajara, Mexico, hit me up
On and every other Thursday.
every other Thursday. He was asking what other people would want themed ones for, so people were shouting things out. Um, like Friends, I was like, Simpsons, I was like, I just want Disney, more Disney, please. Disney, Disneyland, Disney
Right.
parks, Marvel. But it definitely made me feel like I want to go on a cruise. I was like, oh, I love just walking out of the stateroom and rolling up to some trivia 3 times a day. It's
I'm
great.
not gonna lie, I had a dream last night about being on a Disney cruise.
Let's go. Pick the ship, pick the
It's heartbreaking.
destination.
Oh my gosh. Well, that sounds like tons of fun. I'm pretty jealous. I'm like due for some more trivia. I should look into it. I bet you there's a lot of trivia here in the Bay Area as well. I just don't know where to find it.
Yeah,
How do you find this stuff? Maybe I'll dig in on that a little bit
there
more.
you go. You got to be in
Um,
Facebook. Ugh, it's
yeah, I
overwhelming.
know. I gotta. Oh, Facebook.
I did start following their Instagram, so hopefully I'll see stuff there. So that's another place is like
That's
follow
cool.
like some of the bars and lounges and stuff, and they'll post.
Right, right. Some local places. I want some like really local, so I won't have to feel like to go way out of my way for everything all the time. Like just something down the
Yeah.
street would be so nice.
And then there's
Yes.
no pressure for
I
it to
love
be
it.
like amazing or perfect. It's just like, oh, fun night. You
Right,
know what you
exactly.
could
Exactly.
do?
Perfect.
You could start it.
I
Be
could.
be the change, be the force, Ray Skywalker.
I could. However, I have insanely aggressive stage fright. So, not sure I'd be able to pull that off, but we'll see how it goes. Well, speaking of these like fun things you can do inside Disneyland, outside of Disneyland, anything that kind of brings you into like some little fun that's focused around Disney fun. We also have something coming up, or I also have something coming up, which is Mouse Adventure. And Mike, I just realized I never
Ooh.
even told you about this because we had already talked about your travel plans. And so when this came up, I built my team out. I just was like, I'm gonna go. Mouse Adventure is happening
I
again.
don't even
So
have a
now Mouse
magic
Adventure for
key.
those
It's
of
all good.
yeah, I know. I was like, all right. I'll just figure this one out. And I was gonna tell you, and I just completely forgot to even tell you about it. But anyway, Mouse Adventure, for those of you who have never heard of Mouse Adventure, it is a scavenger hunt inside of Disneyland. Now, this is an unofficial Disney event. So, again, it's not like this is not an official Disney thing. However, they have like hundreds of teams playing the same day. Like it'll fit like remember Big Thunder Mountain or Big Thunder Ranch was like completely full of players
Yeah.
and they had the pre-brief in there and the aftermath also. Just hundreds and hundreds of players on top of like I think there's at least 100
R.I.P. Big
teams if
Thunder
not more.
Ranch.
Yep, old school. So they're finally doing another one. I think this is the first one in Disneyland since COVID. So it's coming back.
Wow.
I'm very excited. And it's long story short, a very intense, super fun, really difficult
Very
and
hard.
challenging scavenger inside the park.
Muy
And
difícil.
yes, and this one has a theme. This one's actually going to be in California Adventure. And here is what they say about it on their website. Says it is time to get in touch with your feelings at Disney California Adventure Park for Mouse Adventure, Emotional Whirlwind. So that's the name of this version of Mouse Adventure, Emotional Whirlwind.
Oh,
Yep. Experience the joy of solving a puzzle, sadness over missing that I Spy, anger over the painting of a sign the night before the game, disgust at the removal of Soarin' over California,
Oops.
and fear of being stuck on the swinging gondolas. Hot on their heels are envy and what's that word? Ennui. Is this an
Ennui.
emotion?
Ennui.
I don't even know what that is. Okay, hold up.
Ennui.
What
That's
is this
why
emotion? You know?
Pixar wants us all to learn about that. It's kind of like when you're burnt out, like it's
Oh, that's me a lot.
depression, but like more than sadness.
Aw.
Let's see, the internet says a feeling of boredom, mental tiredness, or weariness that can be caused by a lack of interest or excitement. And she's a
Oh,
teenager.
wow.
Riley's a
Okay.
teenager, and we go through those moods.
Yep. So these are three new ones that they and four new ones that they have announced here. Hot on their heels are envy, ennui, anxiety, and and embarrassment.
Wow.
We've never said Mouse Adventure wasn't intense. All this will play out against the backdrop of Pixar Fest. So pack your emotional baggage and join us at Disney California Adventure Park on May 19th. So it's in a couple
Wow.
of weeks. Or I'm sorry, it's in like a week and a half from now, right?
Pretty soon.
Yes,
Yeah, pretty
like a week
soon.
and a half. Yeah. Um, so yeah, Mouse Adventure has been going on since 1998. It's put on by mouseplanet.com. That's a little more familiar probably to a lot of people. Mouseplanet.com,
One of
Mike's
the
chat, those kind of
OG
were like,
blogs, websites.
yes, old school blog, like some of the earliest ones that we ever followed. And then this version of these scavenger hunts they put together are called Mouse Adventure. So Mouse Planet, Mouse Adventure. But the very first one they ever did was in 1998. It was called ADD Quest. I don't know like what the ADD stood for at the time,
Oh,
but they had two of those in a row. And then in 2000 was when the official title Mouse Adventure started. And they've had them pretty much every year in both Disneyland and Disney World, at least once a year, if not twice. And yeah, they've been going on for quite some time. I think I've played in the parks in Disneyland Resort at least four different times. Mike, did you only do one with
wow.
us?
Just once. Just once.
Just once. Okay.
Just once.
So for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, the photo in the backdrop is the photo from that time we played Mouse Adventure. And it's me, Mike, our friend Danielle, and our friend Joy. Shout out to Joy and Danielle. And we're making ridiculous faces because
Twice.
our team was called
Headhunters.
the
I
Headhunters.
had
That's
to have
right.
done it twice because I'm looking at the outfit, and there was another time where we wore yellow shirts. So I think I did it twice with you
Yellow
guys.
shirts, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, yellow. No,
I don't
yeah.
remember that one.
And it said Headhunters also because we did it twice. The team name again. Ooh, or am I
I
dreaming
love
it?
it.
I think it's real. I
I
think
don't know.
so.
I don't remember the yellow shirts. I'm like, I don't think I would have worn that shirt. Jeez. Just kidding. No hate, no hate. But yeah, I don't remember the yellow shirts, but maybe you could be right.
Yeah, you
We
know what?
did,
Because
I
it was
did
with
play
the
at least four
gold.
times. So,
When did we have the gold 50th
oh,
years?
was
Was
it
it
for
this?
gold?
I think so. It was the
It's
50th. Because
probably
I
on the 50th, right?
this one here we have like pirate hats on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went pirate themed. I don't know what's going on with our shirts. Like mine has, oh, you know what? Maybe this wasn't from the scavenger hunt.
I think it is though. I think it is.
No,
Did
I
you
just realized what shirt I'm wearing. It's not. This is from when they closed the original Pirates and we didn't know what they're going to do to it. Because I remember I put the Jolly
oh,
Roger on my shirt because everyone was saying that was going away. Just kidding. This is
whoops.
not a photo. And we do have the ones with the yellow hats on. They're white t-shirts, but they did have um that was the one where it said three heads are better than one or something, right? And it was the
Yeah.
bones from Indiana Jones on it. And then a picture
Yes,
of him on it.
yes. That makes
Yes.
sense. And then we did it again. So I did do it twice though, because then the next time we did it, or one time we did it, and then one of the puzzles, the answer was those three heads from
Yes.
from Winnie the Pooh,
Yes.
Country Bear, homage. And then we printed that and put it on our shirts for the next year. Those are the
That's
only
right.
two I
That's right.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did too. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. I
Wow. That
love
feels like
that.
so long ago. And the park has
Yeah, it was
changed
age. It
so
was.
much already. Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, it has. So oh my gosh. Do you have any puzzles that stuck out in your memory the most from like if you were to tell somebody what it was like playing Mouse Adventure in the park, what would stick out to
Oh,
you?
I have one go-to one that I always tell people, especially when it was gone for a while. And I was like, there used to be this thing. My favorite one was Winnie the Pooh because there was one question on the lot of the questions that we just kept skipping because we couldn't figure it out. And then, and you might remember this more because my memory is changing it a little bit. So, for some reason,
We'll
I
see
don't
how they
know.
compare because this is also going to be the one I share.
Is it? For some reason, we decided to get on Winnie the Pooh. I think we knew a little bit enough to say, okay, maybe it has to do with Winnie the Pooh. And then we get into the room. I think it's with like the heffalumps or something, wherever the black light is. And all of a sudden, on the paper, when the black light was shining on it, it revealed more words. And that was what we needed to answer the clue and solve the puzzle. And I just remember thinking, this is whoever thought of this game, like, especially it's not Disney, right? It's just other fans. Like they went above
Right.
and beyond like to create
Yes.
this. So cool. Yeah, do you remember how did we know to check the black light? Or did we not know?
Yeah, so okay, we did not know to check the black
Wow.
light. And here's the fun part about it. Um, it was a postcard because this at this time this was a nighttime. This is another best part of it. This specific one was at nighttime, which I loved.
That's good.
And I think it's the only time they did it at nighttime. And at some point we had to actually like find an actual human in the park. So some of these scavenger hunts you might see, they just kind of set you off for the day and you go do your thing. But this one, they're a little more involved. You like look for these game masters or whatever you want to call them, and you interact with people at some point, and sometimes they'll give you a new clue or you check in and you hand in your paper or whatever it is that you have to do. And we had gotten a postcard from a woman sitting near Splash Mountain and it had country bears on it, like country bear jamboree.
Ooh.
And on the back of it, it said something like, who's this bear that moved into our house or something like that. Like it was kind of saying like this, who's this new bear in town or something. So we're like, okay, we got to go on Winnie the Pooh. And then it had picture of, I think, if I remember correctly, three heffalumps. And it had an arrow pointing to one of them. It says, what are the colors of this heffalump? So we're like, all right, we got to go on this ride and look for these three that are arranged in this way and see what color this heffalump is. So we went on and we're looking all over the place. We finally get to the blacklight room and we look at the heffalump and then we look back at our card to make sure we have the right one. And all of a sudden there was an entire new clue on the card. Like
So
there's that
cool.
blacklight ink that you couldn't see until it lit up. And we're like, ah! We were freaking out so hard that we like almost didn't even have time to read it
Right?
because you have to see it while you're in the room. And it was just a bonus. It said like, I can't remember what it said, maybe go find somebody somewhere or whatever it was. But we ended up getting the clue right by choosing the colors of the heffalump in the middle or whichever one it was pointing at. And then also doing the bonus quiz that was on the blacklight ink. And I remember that people talked about it afterwards, and there's people that didn't look at the card while they were on the ride because they're like, oh,
Wow.
we're looking for the second one out of the three or whatever it was. And they wrote down the answer and went on their merry way and they didn't look back at the clue. So it was super cool. And do you remember the aftermath of that as well?
No,
I
no,
think
I
with
don't.
the organizers.
Uh-uh.
I think his name was Alex. I almost can remember his name. He was one of the organizers, and his eyes were bloodshot red,
That
like
sounds familiar.
burnt, because he's the one that wrote on all these 100 cards or whatever under this UV light for hours,
Oh,
writing this clue
no.
out. And he was talking about how he didn't use the tube black lights, like the fluorescent black lights. He used the bulb,
Oh,
and then it like
shoot.
messed his eye up. Yep, it was or both his
Wow.
eyes, and
It
so he was
probably
all messed
burned
up from it.
it.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, it was terrible.
He
Oh
really
my
went all
god,
out for us to have a good
it
time.
was hardcore. Yeah, so they really go hard on these scavenger hunts, and like it's really fun because one of my favorite things about them, and this is another story I usually tell about this scavenger hunt, is that it really makes you notice things in the park you may have never noticed before. Like
Yeah.
they'll try to find things that are obscure because of the fact that like they don't want you to just know the answer right away. They're not going to be like, oh, like
Yeah, not
how
just a
many
trivia
entrances are
question.
there to parts of the Caribbean? Yeah, they want you to like go find something that you've never looked at before or can't remember for sure. So you end up seeing all these like small details that you may have literally never noticed or paid attention to or whatever. And one of the things they had you do was go, I think it said like walk, because it was at nighttime. This is before they had Main Street vehicles at nighttime. And they said walk the route of a Main Street vehicle. And it was something about the light bulbs on Main Street. I can't remember how it played out, but you like have to pay attention to how many light bulbs are on the signs on Main Street. And it was like super cool because you just like never really spend that much time like looking at the art of these
Yeah.
signs, you know? It was just super, super cool. I remember another one about Toontown, about the names of the stores, like just things I just never really focused on before. So it's another reason I really enjoy these clues. I'll
But
tell
there
one more
wasn't,
story because this one was
I remember
nuts. Oh,
something
go
with the
ahead.
pet cemetery that was fun too. Like
Was there
now,
something with the pet cemetery?
yeah.
That's crazy
And
because
now
it's
that
hard
I'm
to get
thinking about it,
into.
like this was even before it's like escape rooms were a thing. So it was
Yeah,
that same feeling of like solving this mysterious puzzle, but you have to look and use every resource you have. It was
right,
fun. Yeah, I
right,
like that.
exactly. That's why I love these kinds of things. Like, oh my gosh. But I remember this other puzzle. This one was so hard, and I don't want to say I hated it, but it was hard. It was a hard puzzle and it took forever. But it had something to do with, it had all these stickers they gave you, and then this like paper where you have to put the stickers with the numbers in a certain order, but you do them in the order, or I think if I remember correctly, there's a million stickers of a bunch of different scenes from Disney movies, and you would have to only use the ones that you would see in the Animation Academy. So, you know, you sit in the Animation Academy and you have all those giant
Oh,
screens. So you have
yeah.
to sit there and watch the entire loop of the video on all those different screens and then look on your paper of like 100 stickers and find them all and put them on this page and then ends up spelling something out. So, like, an amazing puzzle. Took a lot of time and a lot of hard work and it was very frustrating, but man, the result of it was so, so cool. So, like, again, one of those cool things. And then you get to like sit and hang out in the Animation Academy. It's beautiful in there. So, like, that was fun too, you know?
And it's fun to
But
have like
yeah,
a
these
team
are,
so everybody can like take turns like looking for the thing and reporting
yes,
back,
okay, you
what
get
they
those
found.
three, I'll get those three. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Totally divide and conquer, like
Wow,
100%.
even back then, that's how you get fast passes. You'd send somebody to go get the fast passes out of the machine, the paper ones, and come back with everybody's tickets and fast pass.
No,
What
no,
a
no, you
time,
can't do that in
reminiscing.
Mouse Adventure.
Oh no,
Do you remember?
I mean, just what a time
Oh,
era where you got to do stuff like that in general.
right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the cool things too, is they take that into consideration. Like they don't want you to spend your entire time of the scavenger hunt in lines. So a lot of them weren't actually on the rides. And if they did have them on the rides, it would be the ones with no lines,
Yeah,
aka Winnie
Winnie
the
the
Pooh, right?
Pooh.
Let's be real here. But it was so cool. So I am very excited. I am playing again on May 19th. Um, FYI, for those of you that are interested in something like this, they still have tickets available. I cannot speak today, sorry. They still have tickets available. They are $180 for a team of 4, so you can invite up to 3 of your friends plus yourself. And it's at mouseadventure.com/Disneyland. So you can go right on there and register as a team. You get to pick your own team name, you get buttons, like whatever you like. Then the actual experience of going to this event, I want to talk about for a second too. So this has been done every time I did it was very different.
Hmm.
One of them I want to mention was kind of cool. We went to the AMC theater that used to be in downtown Disney. They rented out a movie theater to have everybody come into and like load up and like hand
Oh,
out the
smart.
packets, right? Yep, it was very smart. So they handed out these packets with your quests in them, and then everyone got lanyards, and then you had like a team, like when you're like a race, you had like a bib. I think they're called bibs. So
Uh-huh,
you're supposed to
uh-huh.
wear these so you can be identified as part of scavenger hunt, and they would watch you. They had secret shoppers, I like to call them,
Oh.
around Disneyland, and you can't split your group up. So that thing when I say about the fast pass
Yeah.
earlier, if you have somebody take off, they'll catch you.
Oh
So you
yeah,
have
so
to
you
like
can't
stay
solve
all
like four
together.
puzzles at once. That's cheating. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No divide and conquer in that way.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer for a specific puzzle, absolutely. Um, and so yeah, it was really cool. They would have you meet somewhere. They had this kind of like launch thing where they'd take everyone to the Esplanade, everyone would be ready to go, and then they'd be like, 3, 2, 1, go. And then you'd go in, get into the
Woo!
park, and just go for it. And I remember there's one time too, I don't know if this was with you or not, but the timing could not have been more insane. It started dumping rain as soon as they said go. Like, I'm
That
not even
sucks.
kidding. It
That
was
sucks for
like,
me. I think you might like that.
I loved it, but it was
Yeah.
crazy because you already have your packet, so you can actually get started. So everyone just
Oh,
dispersed off to the sides, found shelter, and just started working on their packets instead
like
of like
game
going to the
plan this
first
out.
place.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. It was really, really crazy. So, lots of fun. I highly recommend it. If you guys are into puzzles at all, if you are into doing something a little unique in Disneyland, if you go a lot and you just want to try something new, highly, highly recommended. It is really, really a good time. And it's like, I think it's like 8 hours long. It's like from 10 to 6 or
Do
10,
it.
maybe not that long, maybe like 10 to
Register.
4 or something. It's long.
Highly
Yep.
recommend.
So you get a pretty good day out of it. And then after that, they have you come back at like 7 o'clock at night or something and meet somewhere, wherever the place they choose. Like we had mentioned earlier, one of them was in Big Thunder Ranch. We've had them at the Disneyland Hotel before, just different places. And they have like a party at the end. And do they have food? I feel like they have food too. I can't remember,
I
but
feel like we
they
ate
have
at Big
everyone.
Thunder Ranch, but now I don't know if I'm just remembering it wrong.
I know, right? I'm like, I feel like there was like a buffet or something. But anyways, they have you all gather back together and they go over the results and they announce all the teams' highest winnings and the top 3 places and any other awards they're giving out. And you know what is really cool is that out of all the times I played 4 or 5 times, I've only won an award one time, and it was with Mike. Do you remember what we won?
Woo! I'm just pressing all the buttons. Yeah, I remember we won best team spirit. Dun, dun.
Team Spirit. That's right. And
Woo!
that's so us, right? That is
Yeah,
like
that's so
so
much better
us.
than winning. It's like you won people's hearts over, not just the answers to
Oh,
the
I love
puzzles.
that.
It's like
Now, next
miscongeniality,
trivia question,
right? Yeah.
pop quiz. Do you remember what we did every single time we had a check-in and we had to like give them our answer
Ooga
to get a
chaga, ooga
point?
chaga, ooga chaga, ooh. We had a chant.
It is. I love it.
We had
I
a
love it.
full-on chant.
Headhunters.
Headhunter chant.
Yes, we did. We had the chant down. We were like super into it. And I feel like they maybe even just created that just for us
Just
because they're
for
like,
us.
that team
Oh,
was
for
super
sure.
crazy and
They
cool.
had to have. They had to
Yeah.
have.
I don't think they had Team Spirit before that. I'm just gonna say it. I'm
They're
just gonna
like,
say
these
we laid
people
the
didn't do
foundation.
good. They didn't finish on time, but they're so much fun. So let's make this Team
But they were
Spirit Award.
fun. Yeah.
And I think we were not as well known in that circle. A lot of those people knew each other, and we were kind of like
Yes,
shy, but
yes.
we were new to the crowd. So that was really
Right.
nice. It made me feel super welcomed. And what I loved about the whole experience was there is a sense of friendly competition. If let's say
Hmm.
you're trying to solve a clue in a physical space and another team is there too, like kind of just can have fun a little bit and like pretend you're hiding the answers and snicker and stuff like that. So
And you
it
can
was a
help each
good
other, but you're not
vibes.
supposed to.
Good help.
Or
Uh-huh.
actually, I think you're okay to help each other as long as both teams are okay with it. But there was also the sticklers, like the people you're saying that were at your Star Wars trivia, where they're like,
Yeah.
no, 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 don't look at my papers, right?
Yeah. Or what Jerry was doing at Star Wars trivia, he would sometimes say the wrong answers out loud on purpose.
Oh my gosh, that's such a you thing. Are you saying that as Jerry, but it was actually
No,
you?
his were 1000% not believable.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like he'd be listing like pop stars for
He's like,
who was the
Madonna.
princess of Naboo. Yeah, exactly.
Madonna's the answer to everything.
But during Mouse Adventure, I think I can imagine myself, yeah, trying to throw people off the scent Be like, oh, you know that Winnie the Pooh one? We were wrong. It's at Country Bear Restaurant.
Yeah, go. It's a
Yeah.
little hungry bear over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta throw people off. Gotta play the game.
Nice.
Amazing Race.
Yes, the Amazing Race, as close as you can get to the Amazing Race in Disneyland. It's super, super cool. So,
How fun.
highly, highly recommended again. Go check it out. And if you guys are coming, please let us know. Like, I know, Mike, I didn't even tell you about it to even invite you. You are invited if you want to come, but last minute. But, but, if anybody else joins, please let me know. And I would love to say hi to you because that would be super cool to know that we have some other Disney holics playing the game. And I think I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep the team name as the Disney holics. Just get
Well, there
some
you go.
representation
Yeah,
in
that
there.
makes
That's right.
sense. Let's do it.
Yep. Yep.
Promote.
Um, and so that is, oh, I wanted to mention there's another thing. So Mouse Adventure, which we saw this from a lot of places during COVID. A lot of places got real innovative of how to take their brand and their experience or whatever it is and make something attainable during COVID for, shelter in place times for people who enjoy their experiences. And Mouse Adventure went with this and they made a Mouse Adventure in a box, it's called. And this was for home. And it was live. It was still like you had to like go because your answers would be recorded by the time you put them in. And we would always play. We would give a shout out to Nick and Joey
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
because this was the team of four right here. And we played so many of these together during COVID. I think at least
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 different times, right?
And it was so easy because all you had to do was commit to a time, and then we would just jump on Zoom, order food in, have a drink nearby, and just, yeah, and do it all virtually.
Yep, it was so fun. It was hecka hard.
Very
There was
hard.
so many hard puzzles, and they send you a kit in the mail. So some of them are physical things. So you'd like be cutting things apart and like puzzling things out and all sorts of stuff. Like there's like items in the boxes that they would come with.
Hmm.
So again, still,
Decoders. It reminded me of like those things they would do in like Christmas Story in the 50s.
yeah, with the decoder ring, the
Decoder.
Ovaltine.
Yeah, it was really
Choose your
cute. It was
Ovaltine.
really well thought out. It seemed like everything was like designed for virtual, right? Like they weren't like trying to stretch it. It really worked. And
Right.
I loved that it was so hard that they allowed us to use the internet because they know you can't stop somebody from doing that.
Right. They just
Once you're
owned
online,
that.
they just owned it, and everything was so hard that didn't even really help.
Yeah, it was again, it wasn't, it's just like the park, like they don't mention things that you can answer without having to do something new, like it's a completely new way of looking at a
Yeah,
scavenger hunt.
no basic trivia questions here.
Do you
Hmm.
remember one they had? This, I think this is me who had the physical copy that time. There was a card that you had to put in the freezer for like a half an hour, and then it would have something on the card would appear from being
Wait,
in the
I thought that
freezer.
was box one, or did they do that too?
The same thing. Yep, they did both.
Wow,
And
clever.
there's one where you had to like get a paper wet with something. I don't know. They
I
have all these
remember
like cool
the
tricks.
something in the water. Yep, I
Yeah.
do remember
Yeah.
that.
Super cool, very impressive. Also with Mouse Adventure, you can still play their games. I don't know if they're going to continue doing the in a box ones where they're live competition with other teams. However, they have these ones called vacations, and they're kits that they'll send you. It's just papers, but they'll send you a little pamphlet that you can play on your vacation just with your friends and family.
Genius. We could do that like in
Right?
the DVC or whatever.
Yeah, and
That's
they've
perfect.
already
Yeah.
created all of these really intense scavenger hunts. They might as well keep it going for people that want to
Yeah.
replay or play for the first time, just with their
Oh, wait, I see what you
team.
mean. Not to play at your table, but to actually play in the park.
Yeah, to take with you to go to Disney World or
Oh,
something. Yeah,
that's smart. That's
isn't
fun.
that
Okay,
smart?
I like
It's
it.
very, very cool. So yes, Mouse Adventure, 2 thumbs up for me. They're so fun, and I'm very excited to replay their game now. So back in the park. Oh my gosh, crazy times. But it got me thinking, what other events can we do outside of the park or inside the park that are maybe like unofficial or special events that happen often? Something like your trivia that you went to, or
Mm.
something more like Mouse Adventure.
Yeah, I like I like all of it, but one thing that I think stands out to me is when they do stuff that's very Disney-holics, like it's adults only. Um,
Ooh.
I never got to make it to the Star Wars burlesque show. I think it's back in San Francisco now, but it was in New York for a little bit. But like something like that, right up my alley. I love that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
fandom, unofficial, so they can do whatever they want because it's just parody. We went to this drag show when you came to visit me. There's one that I love to take people to who like Disney, and it's called Disney Drag, like almost like Gen Diz and then
Yeah,
N-E-E.
D-I-Z.
And it's so fun because it's so inappropriate.
Was it
And
Distorted Disney or
oh,
something?
there you
Is that
go,
what it was?
distorted Disney with all of the
Yep.
Z's in there.
Yep.
And yeah, they're wild. They're all drag queens, and so they're really funny. They perform well, and the humor is dark and adult, and it's just so much fun. So
So
much
much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I also go to Disney Drag over here. Shout out to Whole Lot of Times and the rest of the crew over at Club 1220. There's also some Disney Drag at Oasis in San Francisco I've gone to. Heck of fun, like so much fun. And then, of course, I have to give Risky Quizness a huge shout out. They are friends of the show. They often do Disney events. If you guys are located in the Bay Area, especially like South Bay, they do a lot of events, not just Disney. So this is another group that I told you, or how we are talking about earlier, that they do all sorts of different types of trivia. Like their schedule is just always full of all sorts of things. Like there's Friends trivia, there's Harry Potter, there's
Wow.
all the nerdy fandoms are covered and then some. Like they have Swifty trivia, they have I don't even know. They're doing a couple 24-hour events coming up where they're doing 1 hour trivia of all sorts of different
Ooh.
things for 24 hours straight. So they are killing it. So shout out to Risky Quizness. And I wanted to mention real quick that I recently went to Disneyland trivia, which of course is my favorite trivia possible, right? It's the only thing I actually know really a lot about. Um, and I went with Joy and Danielle, which is a solid Disneyland
Solid.
team,
They were
right?
part of our
Solid.
headhunters team at Mass
That's right.
Adventure. Yep.
That's right. And guess what place we got out of probably like 30 teams?
Third place.
We were number one.
No way.
Just kidding.
Congratulations.
Nope.
Oh,
No, we got team number 8. What?
top 10. Top 10.
We made it in the top 10. I was kind of bummed. I was like, dang, I thought we were gonna kill it. But there were other teams there that were quicker with their trigger finger and they knew their stuff and they cleared us out. We're like,
Wow.
dang.
Did you get most of them right? So was it like a timing thing or were there
It's
some really
timing
hard
and
ones?
correct. Yeah. So
Ah, okay.
there's a lot of stuff in there. They're great. They read the question out loud first and then they make it live. It's all within an app. And then or like on web, and then you have to choose it on there. And I remember we've like gone from using a phone to using an iPad to using a laptop because it's just like you can type faster, you can see the screens bigger. Like there's just like a billion things that you have to think of when you have an actual team. If it's just you, it'd probably be real easy on your phone, but you have like 3 people that need to read it, and then you can't yell out the answer because other people will hear you, so you got to be
Yeah.
like, all right, get one person to type in the answers, and there's a whole like strategy about how to even do that. But Risky Quizzes is great. I love them. They're so much fun, and they're all solid. So check them out if you are in the Bay Area.
Oh,
Um,
another while we're on the trivia topic,
yeah.
another thing that I like to do that's unofficial, I think you actually got me into this during COVID, was just the influencers who would do trivia online.
Yeah.
So on YouTube, they'll go live,
Yes.
on Instagram, on Twitch, probably a little bit less than there was during COVID, but those were always fun. I don't know if I remember
Totally.
everybody's names, but I know like Sarah Sterling did one, right, with her
Mm-hmm.
buddy, and then I think that was the first one I went to. And it was also legit. Like they had a Google form link and you had to submit the answers. And what I love about trivia and other crowd games like bingo is the banter that happens in between questions while you're waiting
Yes.
for people to submit their answers.
Totally.
And so when you have a true fan, it's so much fun. So we did a
Yep.
lot of
Yep.
those.
That's
Cheesy
fun
something. There's
too.
a guy that does one too. I forgot what his name was.
Oh shoot, I can't remember any of them either,
Easy
but I watched
Pop
a
or something.
ton during COVID.
Yeah.
Like I would just save them all. I'm like, okay, I gotta follow all these people, watch all this
Yep.
Disney trivia.
Nothing else to do. So just like set a reminder and then you jump on.
And some of the banter in between that's like the most fun are people's incorrect answers. Because
Oh
people
yeah.
sometimes like will just pick the funniest things. You do that too on our trivia on Instagram a lot, actually. You're really good with that.
Wait, but I don't think that's me. It's usually someone else that's just in the chat that you think is
Oh,
me. I don't know.
oh, just kidding.
One of
Maybe not.
my one of my weird personas.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness. Well, another couple things that they do in the park at Disneyland specific or Disneyland Resort, is the Gumball Rally. This is put on by Mice Chat. Now, this is like not so much a
oh.
scavenger hunt, but it's another unique thing you can do, and it's to ride as many attractions you possibly can in a day at Disneyland.
Oh
So
wow.
just everybody goes the same day and they just try to like go hard and like there's all these strategies on like what rides to ride in which order and all this stuff. So that's always a fun thing you can do. So check them out on Mice Chat. Um,
Gumball. Why Gumball Rally?
I don't know.
That's a thing, right? Like
It's
from
a
the old
term,
days?
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't actually know. I don't
Gumball
know.
Rally. Fascinating.
Another one is Minnie's Moonlight Madness. Now, this has been a bucket list item for me for a long time, and it's because you have to get a cast member to invite you. So, if we have any cast members that have an open slot, I'm just saying I am available because I would love to do this. And the reason I think it's so cool, it is a scavenger hunt that's official, put on by Disney for their cast members and the cast members' friends and family.
Oh.
But the fun thing about it is it's overnight, it's like super late. And they make your entire team tie yourselves together at the waist.
Wow. So you really can't spread out. You have to stick
You really
together,
can't.
work
Yep.
together, all of it.
And they like everyone goes all out with costuming and it seems like a ton of fun. Like exactly like as far down the alley of the things I love as you possibly can get. So I've always wanted to do Minnie's Moonlight Madness, but again, cast members only invited and they can bring whoever they want, but sounds like a ton of fun.
That's fun.
Um, and then lastly on my list is just again, like I mentioned earlier, Mouse Adventure has those vacation kits you can buy and go take them to the park. But there's also a ton of free fan-made scavenger hunts that you can find online. There's books, like the Hidden Mickey book is a real popular one that you can get even
Oh,
inside the
yeah.
park that you can use to just kind of add a little fun into your day, especially if you go often
That's a
or if you
classic
have,
one. I think people who are just casually going along with you, if you're a Disney holic, they would probably have fun with a Hidden Mickey's book,
yes,
right?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say it's a great crossover option because it kind of gets them like, oh, now they have something to do versus just like following you around. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It kind of
exactly.
feels, especially if you have a friend that really likes to be in control and they're
Yeah.
now in your space, give them one of these like scavenger hunts to do for sure.
They'll be like, "Where's Adventureland? Can we go there? I need to find this one." It says it's hard to
Yeah, I
find.
can't find this one
Yeah.
anywhere. And you're like, maybe
And
play
whoever
dumb and let them
authors
find
that,
it
they
themselves.
update it, I think, almost every year. Like there's always a new one with
Yep.
updated Mickeys.
Yep. And you can find like links to tons of scavenger hunts. Like I looked this up before we were ready to record, and I was like, I'm not even going to mention any of these because there's like tons of them. Like there's a million that people have created. So have some fun with it. Maybe create your own. Maybe create it to where you can fine tune it to the group you're with. Like I don't know, me and you could make one about like best friends or something. Like get all
Oh
the friends in
yeah.
Disneyland or something. So it's very very cute. Lots of options out there.
DIY.
But yeah,
I have one that I wanted to share that I have not done yet, and we need to do it. We must do
okay.
it. So at Fort Wilderness at Disney World, they have the golf cart parade. And so you rent a golf cart, and then you and your family and friends, whoever's staying in the unit, you decorate the cart, and then they have a full-on parade in the afternoon. And I believe there's like winners and things like that. There's a contest. And this is actually official by Disney, but it feels unofficial because when I see the YouTube videos, it's just very DIY. It reminds me of those movies where they used to do the soapbox races. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's very like like cardboard and string Christmas lights and a lot of things
What
that
the
you paint
heck?
beforehand. Yeah,
That
it's so
sounds so fun.
very arts and craftsy too. And they usually do it for holidays. So there's like a Christmas one, there's a Halloween one. And even if you don't do it, it seems like it'd be fun to just sit and watch. You can watch along the parade route. So that's at Fort Wilderness. during the holidays, so people could check that out. I would love to hear from somebody who's been on one of those too, to tell us what it's
Yes,
like
please,
to be
please.
in the parade. But we need to put that on our Disney bucket list. It's
Yes, we do. I would love to do that.
yep.
Please, let's add that on for
So
sure.
fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, any other ones you can think of?
No, that's it. I was going to say, but yeah, I guess it is Disney related. So like during gay days, there's always really cool events that are unofficial outside of the park, usually at night. Like they'll have pool parties, they'll have like a drag queen night. So yeah, I guess that's still Disney outside of the parks that other Disneyholics would be at. So if you ever go to gay days at the parks, check out the outside of the park activities. And it's usually like on the website and on their Instagram, I think.
That's a good point. A lot of these unofficial fan days will do some kind of fun scavenger hunt along with it too. So always check into
Yeah.
that when you're headed to any of these types of events. Whew, all right. Well, today we talked about happy May the 4th again to everybody. We talked about Star Wars trivia that Mike got to attend,
Whoop, whoop.
Mouse Adventure, which I'm attending soon, and other fun scavenger hunt or any type of sprucing up and plussing your Disney visit type of events in the park.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed episode 188 of the Disney Holic Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com. Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.